everyone, it's Madi Madison for Spectrum Art.
Yes,
Welcome
hello.
to our beautiful channel.
Thank you. Hello, everyone. Welcome to Spectrum Art. It's M&M, Madi and Madison, and we are back. We actually took a week break, to work on some stuff, to work on the giveaways, to work on a D-stash. By the way, if you have not seen the giveaway video, you can't miss it. It's got a big old thing that says, the front image says it's giveaway time. Make sure you guys get in on that because we've got gift cards and Etsy, all kinds of stuff coming your way. So make sure you guys get in on that, and it's super easy. You don't have to make anything, you don't have to send anything, so it's free to you to go ahead and enter. So yes, let's make sure you guys get in on that. But we missed you guys so much. I hope you guys missed us too, because that week was like, it was almost a week and a half, and it felt like forever since we made a video. But we are back, and we are getting ready to wrap up.
And we missed you ladies too.
We missed everyone, that's right. We're getting ready to wrap up the envelope series. Finally, ta-da! This is going to be video number 11, and then I have one more quick one for you guys, which is going to be number 12, and that one is going to sum up a whole bunch of different things. So make sure you tune in for that one. But this one, we are going to go ahead and we're going to kick it up a notch. We are going to be making journaling pocket tags, these little cuties right here. And we're going to do this one a little bit different. It's going to be a little bit longer because I'm going to give you all the measurements, all the instructions, and we're going to make it together so you can actually craft along. So if I get to chit-chatting too much, I'll probably snip it here and there just to make sure I try to condense it. But the idea is to go ahead and walk you through the whole process. Madison is going to go ahead and share with us the supplies that we're going to need. But first, let me show you what it is that we're going to be making. This is the actual tag, and as you can tell, you can journal right on it, right? It also has pockets. It has a magnetic closure.
Yep.
Okay.
It's like a seat belt.
It's a magnetic closure. You're so cute. Here, as you can tell, I've left this blank. One of the things that I'm going to be doing on the next one to come is going to be actually inserting a notepad here, some papers, which I thought was a great idea. Our friend Kateri actually suggested that a pad would be awesome, but you could do a pocket, you could do a corner tuck, you could do a belly band, you could do a top tuck. You can do all kinds of stuff.
Put some old pictures in it.
That's right. That's why we left this one like this. We're thinking of doing a picture mount, 4 corners, and just inserting a nice picture on there. But again, possibilities are only limited by what you come up with.
They're endless.
They're endless, that's right. So on this side here, we have 2 very nice generous pockets. And again, remember, we're just going to be using an envelope. But we'll go over the materials here together. Up here, we have a very nice large pocket in which we've inserted our tag. And then down here we have yet another pocket in which we have inserted some journaling cards. Remember this, things I love about us, and love never fails. And if you wanted to, you could do a third pocket because again, these are pretty deep, right? But again, totally up to you guys. So let me go ahead and let me move this to the side actually, and Madison's gonna go over our supply list, and yeah, we'll go ahead and take multiple breaks throughout. So give me 1 second and we'll get to our supply list. Okay, Madison, tell us what it is that we're going to be using today. What is the first thing we need?
A scoreboard.
We're gonna need a scoreboard. If they do not have a scoreboard, what could they use? A ruler, right? So we'll need a ruler.
And pencil.
And a pencil if you do not have a scoreboard. What else are they going to be needing?
Paper.
Right, you're going to need some kind of a paper to cover it. And again, you can make your own. You can use magazines. You can use scraps. We're going to be using this paper pad to make another one of those. This one's called Bless Our Home. And it's got beautiful browns and blues, as you saw.
And greens.
No greens. Just blues. And oh, you mean the leaves. Yes, you're right. She's right. Okay, what else are we going to be using?
Cardboard.
Cardboard or some kind of a heavier type of paper. We're going to recycle a cereal box because you know we love to recycle. So break out that cereal box, right? What else are we going to need?
Ribbon.
We're going to need some ribbons. Well, let's go through the stuff that we're going to need for sure first, and then we can go ahead and go through the optional stuff. Scissors are a must, that's right.
Envelopes.
Yes, and you can either recycle some junk mail envelopes, or you can go ahead and, you know, use one of your own, but it's going to need to be a legal size, right? Then we're going to need...
Not a baby size.
They're going to need what?
Brads.
Well, you're going to need a brad. You're going to need a brad, and that's optional, okay? If you do not want to insert a brad, you do not need to insert one. You're going to need magnets. If you do not want to use magnets, you can create any other kind of closure that you like, but we are going to be using magnets today. And you're going to need, like Madison had said, ribbon, right? And again, that's optional. You do not need to put ribbon at the top of your tag, but it does actually, you know, make it look so much pretty. It actually gives it a finished look. And then you're going to need a hole puncher. The hole puncher is also optional because we're going to use it to set our brad, which is a brad setter. You know, this is the crocodile, and we're also going to use it to make that hole at the top.
A lighter.
Do you need to have a brad in there? No. And that's why the ribbon, the brad, and the brad setter are optional. And then you might need a lighter to, you know, to stop the fraying on your ribbons. And that's it, guys. It's as simple as that. Nothing super expensive or magical.
Nothing super cheap. Right?
Everything is super inexpensive and easily accessible. So let's go ahead and clean up. I'll let you guys pause here, gather up your supplies, and then we can go ahead and start creating.
Yeah.
Okay, the first thing we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and slice off the bottom of the envelope, and either side, whichever you want to call it, the top and bottom is up to you, but we're going to slide only off one side. If you have a cutter, great. If not, we have scissors, right? So whichever one, and we're just going to slice a little tiny sliver. See that? Just enough to go ahead and open up the envelope. That's all. Okay. Let me move this to the side. The next thing we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and fold the bottom about 3 inches up. So you're going to take your ruler, and you can mark it if you like. You have your pencil. You can mark it at a 3 inches there, and about 3 inches here. And we're going to go ahead and fold on those 2 little dots. Make sure that it is a line on both sides, and fold. And I do have my notes, so hopefully that's going to help me stay on task, because I tell you what, it's been over a week and a half since we did that other one. So this is kind of a refresher course for me too, which is perfect because we get to do it together. The next thing we're going to do is we're going to mark the top, okay? Again, with our ruler and pencil, we're going to mark at 2 inches. So 2 inches here, 2 inches here, okay? And let's go ahead and trace a little line and make it light. It doesn't have to be super heavy, just for you to have a guideline. See, I don't know if you can even see it, but it's there, okay. Then what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and take our scissors, and we're going to go ahead and slice on that line. We're going to go ahead and create an opening on both sides. We're going to go ahead and cut this way and try and keep it straight. Open it up, and we're going to go ahead and do the same thing here. Once we have done that, we're going to go ahead and take our magnet, and we're going to go ahead and insert the first half of the magnet between this line right here, okay, where we fold it, which is going to be our bottom piece in our mid section. We're going to go ahead and insert our magnet right in there. And again, if you want to feel like it's going to be centered, you can take your ruler. It's about They're about 4 inches wide. So you can go ahead and just kind of put a little dot on there, and that helps you kind of guesstimate as to where it is that you want it. But we're doing this while it's open because it makes it that much easier, right? To go ahead and be able to glue that magnet on there. Actually, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to make a nice black dot so you guys can see it a little bit better. Maybe it'll show on this side. There you go, and it even bled through the other side, which is fine because we're going to cover this. And again, this is why even if you have those junk mail envelopes, this is a perfect project for them because you're going to cover all of this up, right? So basically what we're aiming to do is to make sure that we have one magnet there and that the other one is going to adhere on that side, right? So we're going to go ahead and take some of our glue, we're going to put it where we want it, and we're going to go ahead and glue this magnet down. Whether you use E6000, whether you use glossy accents, whether you use whatever glue you prefer to use, just make sure that it's something that is going to...
You can also use the white glue.
No, not white glue, not for this, honey, because this is metal. And you want to go ahead and let that sit there for a while. You might want to go ahead and also reinforce it with some tape so that you can make sure that that doesn't lift off. So I'm going to take this one off. Okay. We don't want to also glue those 2 pages together, do we? No, no, no. Oh, I'm out of Scotch tape. Madison, did you use all the Scotch tape?
Yes.
Uh-oh. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and go get some tape, and I'm going to put a little piece of tape, and I will be right back. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and add some glue to this clear tape. This is just regular Scotch clear tape, and just make sure I press that down in there and adhere it really well because we don't want that to ever come up, and it really won't. But this is just, you know, added precaution again. Sometimes a little bit of taking 30 seconds as a precaution will go a long way to save you some headaches in the future, right? One trick that I want to share with you guys when you're doing your glue, in case you don't know and you constantly have clogs, is you want to go ahead and always push out until you hear air, and that clears the nozzle. Also, you might want to keep a stainless steel pin or something nearby on your table, and always before you close it, just kind of go in there and clean it up. Again, it's those little tiny things, right, that sometimes save us a lot of work and headache in the future. Okay. So now that we've gone ahead and inserted our magnet and made sure that it was well adhered and reinforced it and all that good stuff, then we're going to go ahead and glue down our top. So we can actually go ahead and close this off completely, because this is going to become, where's my tag? This is going to become part of this top right here. The only reason why I didn't do this one as well, I didn't actually adhere this flap, is because I want to get in here and be able to distress while it's actually open. So I'm going to go around and distress all the edges and then glue this flap down when I am done. when we get ready to go ahead and make our top, we are going to be cutting some of this off. So these corners are going to go away, but again, it's not a big deal. It's just a little bit of distress ink. You do want to go ahead and again, make sure that you go ahead and distress here. If you feel like you want to distress here in the middle, here's a perfect chance to go ahead and do that, right? You can always go in here if you think it's too stark white for what you're going to be doing. And you can even, you know, do some more if you wanted to. But most importantly, what you want to do is you make sure that when you fold this, okay, you want to make sure that you go here and do this bottom piece here, because that is going to be showing. The inside won't, but this will. So we're going to go ahead and distress all of this right here. Okay, now that we have distress, we can go ahead and glue down all of our flaps. And again, they don't need an exuberant amount of glue because of the fact that we're actually going to be putting panels on top of all this. But you don't want anything catching, so just make sure that you do your you know, that you do glue all the edges down. And there we go. Okay, so we have basically the bone structure for our tag, pocket tag. The next thing we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and cut down all of the panels and distress them. Okay, so I'm going to give you all the measurements for those, and then we're going to go ahead and move on to distress them together. Okay, all of our panels have been cut and distressed and set to the side, but I'm going to go ahead and go over the measurements now with you, and I'm going to go ahead and explain how they're all going to work. And this way you can go ahead and do yours as well and work on your layout, because you might want to mix and match them. You can decide which patterns are going to go on the outside, on the inside, etc. Okay, so before we do that, I did want to go ahead and mention, I forgot one little tiny bit. We want to go ahead and distress this inside top panel, and I'll show you why here in a second. Okay, it'll make sense. All right, let's start with our back. Our back cover is going to measure 6.5 by 4. All of our measurements are pretty much going to be 4 because the width of our envelope is 4, or just about. What we're doing is we're leaving 1/8 of an inch on all the sides so that it looks really cute like that. Okay, so again, our back cover is going to be 6.5 by 4. That's going to get attached there. And again, you can choose not to close it here and leave a pocket this way or leave a pocket this way. So many possibilities, right? Then we're going to go ahead and look at the inside of our envelope here. And we're going to go ahead and cut the top at 1 1/8 by 4. 4 and 1 1/8. Now that makes sense why I told you to go ahead and distress that in here, because you are going to see a little piece on the bottom and a little piece on the top. If you're not going to distress, you don't have to, you know. If you're using a different color envelope, great. But just wanted to kind of share that tidbit with you. Let's talk about this middle section. The middle section is going to be 3.5 by 4. Again, the 4 is the width. We're going to go ahead and do 3.5. You could even do 3 if you wanted to. If you notice, it's not reaching all the way down to the bottom because I don't want to cover that magnet. I don't want to add any unnecessary papers or anything to cover and obstruct that magnet so that we have a good, strong closure. So I've done mine at 3.5 by 4. Then let's talk about this bottom flap. And again, you won't be able to see that, see? Because once we close this, you won't even be able to see any of that. So technically, you can even cut it shorter. You know, all you need is to go right underneath this lip right here, right? All right, now, on that one, we're gonna go ahead and on the bottom, we're gonna do 2 3/4 by 4, okay? So 2 3/4. This is gonna give us the inside and the back of our pocket, right? Our envelope, our tag. Let's set that to the side and talk about the front inside and front outside. The front outside cover is going to be 6.5 by 4. So 6.5 in height, 4 inches wide. The front inside cover is going to be 5 3/4 by 4. 5 3/4 by 4. This you could actually technically make smaller if you want to, depending on the thickness of your paper. If your paper's pretty thick, and again, you do not want it to obstruct that magnet, let me show you. If you guys remember, when we did this one, I used washi tape right there. See that? The magnet is hidden right underneath that surface, and I used a washi tape. So this was actually a smaller panel. This one was almost 5 inches. Okay, where this one is going to cover from top to bottom. But again, you have options. You can do a decorative border if you want to. You can do maybe some lace if you wanted to hide the magnet. It's up to you. But you want to make sure that you do not have too much obstruction to create that really nice, you know, flowy close, right? Okay. So those are going to be all of the flaps that we are going to go ahead and cut and distress. Now that we are done with cutting and distressing all of our flaps, we're going to go ahead and make our front flap cover. So let me clean this all up and we will go ahead and get ready to do that. To make our front flap, we are going to be using that cereal box or heavy cardstock, right? We're going to need a piece that's going to measure 7 by 4 1/8. So let me cut this all the way around first to make sure that we have a nice level on all sides. We're going to go ahead and go 4 1/8 by 7. And again, if you have scissors, use those. And there it is. Now it's time to go ahead and bring out our our scoreboard, excuse me. We are going to be scoring this at 6 1/2 and then at 5 3/4. Okay. So we have our 2 score lines, right? Let me fold them so you guys can see them. There's 1 and there's 2. Okay, so it's gonna look like that. All right. While we have the scoreboard, leave it out. Go ahead and bring your envelope over. And we're gonna score the envelope also at 5 3/4. Okay, and that's gonna be on the inside. Actually, technically, I don't think it really matters whether it's on the inside or the outside, to be honest with you. Okay, and there it is. And we can put our scoreboard aside. If you do not have a scoreboard, you can do it with a ballpoint pen, right? You can score with a kitchen knife, a butter knife, that sort of thing. All right, we have got this. Now it's time to go ahead and sand it down. I'm going to go ahead and distress all the edges as well because I do not like this cardboard look to show. I want it to be nice and brown and match this look, right? So I'm going to go ahead and sand my front down so that my paper adheres pretty well. And then I'm going to go ahead and distress all around it and we will come back for the magnet. Okay, so now our box has been distressed and you can see that I've done all sides, and I've even gone in places that wasn't necessary just so you could see all the creases and the score lines that we had created. We're ready to go ahead and insert our magnet, and to do that we're going to go ahead and place our magnet and they're going to find each other obviously because magnets attract. So we're going to go ahead and put that on there. We're going to the trick that I use, and again, I'm sure you probably have some different ones, is I just use a kitty marker or whatever marker I have. I line up you're going to line it, by the way, at the top score line and make sure that it's nice and straight. And then I come down, and once I have it there, and you can feel free to glue it down if you would prefer to do that. That's totally okay. And then I just kind of press on it. And what happens is, oh, I'm sorry to shake the table. You'll notice that it actually gives me a placing for my magnet. So now I can come back and grab my magnet, get my glue once again. And again, I want to make sure that I test it to know which way I need to go ahead and adhere it, right? I don't want it to repel, I want it to attract. I'm going to place that on there. And then once again, I'm going to go ahead and grab some clear tape just to make sure that we have a really good adhesion and that it's going to stay there for a long, long time without any possibilities of it actually coming undone. And I'm going to go ahead and glue that down as well. Okay, now I know that my magnet has the proper placing, and I know that it's not going anywhere. I'm going to be squeezing that glue all around it, and I have proper placement. Okay. Okay. Now it is time to go ahead and glue all of our panels down. After some thought, I was sitting here talking with Madison, and we realized that, you know what? We had promised you that we would do this together. So we're going to go ahead and do that because there are a couple of tidbits that I want to go ahead and share with you. Let's go ahead and glue the inside panels first. These are all of the inside pockets and the top header. So let's do that first. And then I'm going to share with you why we wanted to go ahead and work on it together. There are a couple of things to keep in mind. And this is why I love using white glue, by the way, because it allows me to manipulate it. It stays wet long enough that I can go ahead and manipulate and lift and shift stuff if I need to. But the other good news is that since this is paper on paper, you don't need more than just that. White, plain, school Elmer's glue. Plus it's fairly inexpensive, right? Oops, I almost stuck that on there upside down. You know what? I just want to erase that little pencil mark I had made there to show you guys where we were going to be. Not that it's a huge deal, but why not, right? It's the little details that count. All right, and then we've got our header right there. All right, so that's the inside of our pocket. Everything in me, oh, see, I just moved it around. Everything in me would want to immediately flip this over and glue my back, but I cannot do that because we gotta hide this. This is gonna be our hinge, right? So let's go ahead and instead, let's work on our front. You know, I just realized I forgot to score this one, but it's okay because once we fold it, it'll fold. It'll actually crease itself. Not a big deal. And again, if you want to create any of these to be pockets, this is the time to go ahead and do that, right? You can glue it on 3 sides, have a side opening pocket. You can glue it on 3 sides and have it be open at the top. So if you want to utilize your decorative panels to also become pockets, you certainly can do that at this stage. All right, then we're going to glue this down right here, and that's going to be our front. Okay, now let's go ahead and do the inside. Now remember, the inside, and again, you want to be cognizant of that, especially somebody like me who's got writing. I want the writing to follow the same pattern. So you have to be careful on how you glue this. You don't want to glue it this way, right? You want to be able to glue it this way. So, and again, look at your flowers, look at lines, whatever it is that you've got going on, you want to make sure that that is what you're paying attention to. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and glue this in here. And first, I'm going to go ahead and get me my washi, and we're going to go ahead and add some washi right there. Let's see, how about this one? That looks kind of cool. Although this one tends to be more of a gray. Let's look for a gray one. Hang on. Let's look through the box and look for something gray. That's more purplish, isn't it? Let's see. I'm trying to see if I have anything that can pull those colors right there. I don't, oh, unless this one. How about this checkered one is interesting. Maybe not. Let's see, what else do we have? Let's look in here. Is that the same one we used before? That goes so well. I think I'm gonna stick with that. It might be the same one. Okay, so first I'm going to go ahead and do the washi up at the top. Right? It's going to go this way. But once again, before I do that, I'm going to go ahead and put my glue down because I don't want that washi to be a problem and lift up at a later time. So let's glue it down because we all know how washi is. It sometimes does not want to stay put over time, especially. So let's add our washi and we'll leave it to dry. And now we can go ahead and add our panel. Again, let me make sure I'm doing it right. There we go. Yes, it's going to go this way. All right. And again, if you want this to become another pocket, just leave it open, right? Just glue down the 3 sides that you want. So any of these have potential, any of these panels have potential to become pockets. They can all be pockets. And then you could really load up this baby, huh? Front, back, sides, insides. Okay. Let's go right about there. Voila. Okay. And let's snip that off. Okay, the reason why we want to leave that back panel for last, it's because that back panel is going to hide our hinge. Hello, I just totally missed the piece right here. There we go. All right, this is going to become our hinge. So we're going to go ahead and now glue this down. And we scored it because we definitely want to make sure that when we're able to when we creased it, excuse me, when we did the folding with the scoreboard, we want to make sure that it all moves as one cohesive piece, right? So our score line was right there. And again, we're going to be folding all of it. So there's the front. It now closes magnetically. If you need to adjust it, now is the time to go ahead and do so, but ours looks great. We're going to go ahead and do the same thing on the back. Now we're going to cover this hinge with our back panel. And that's why we wanted to leave that back panel till the very last thing to do. Oh, and I did cut that out. I just wanted to show you that if you wanted to make it longer, then just have it, you know, hang on, I'll tell you what I'm talking about. Because I just kind of realized that I'm talking to myself internally in my head and expecting you guys to know what it is I'm talking about. So give me 1 second. Okay, so there we go. We're going to hide that back hinge. Beautiful, it's gone. If you want to even add a piece of washi tape at the top here as a decoration, you can. But what I was going to tell you is, remember that piece, right, that I told you I'm leaving it for a piece of washi tape? If you don't want to do that, then just make sure that you go ahead and cut your panel the full length. Where is my ruler? I wanted to measure it for you guys. Here we go, let's use this one. So instead, you would cut this panel at a little bit under, about 6 1/4, okay? So there we have that. Now that we've done that, we're gonna go ahead, we're gonna go ahead and crease right there at the line. And we're gonna go ahead and glue that down. This is where we're gonna be inserting our brad. Excuse the doggy barking. I have to pause, I guess I will, and I'll come back. We're gonna glue that at our crease line right there. And that's going to give us our place to open up our envelope, and then we can go ahead and hole punch it. So let me make sure it's all nice. Okay, we're going to go ahead and measure, and we know, well, actually we know it's a little bit over 4, so I'm just going to move it over because it does not need to be perfect. It's a pretty good estimate. And we're gonna go ahead and mark right about there. And I think that's a great place for our brad. And we know that it's actually within that crease line, see? If you have a regular one, fine. And again, this is a step that is actually optional. If you do not wish to do this, you do not have to. Also, if you wish to, instead of doing this, if you want to insert a ribbon and a brad, then, you know, by all means, that would look totally cute. Actually, Madison thought of that, and I was like, oh my gosh, that is such a cute idea. So we might just have to make another one and do that. We'll insert our brad. And we're gonna chomp that down. And there's our brad. I mean, our eyelet, it is now set. Okay, now the last thing that we're missing, well, second to last thing we're missing to do is to go ahead and do our corners. If you have a corner chomper, fantastic. This is the one that Madison uses. It is a We Are Memory Keepers tag maker. So it actually cuts angles. Let me see if I have a piece of paper I can show you. It cuts angles like so in 2 seconds, which is awesome, right? I'm gonna go ahead and use my handy dandy corner maker, which I love because it's free and I like free. So I'm just gonna go ahead and use my guide, put it on all the corners like that, and then I'm going to cut across. And it does get thick because remember we use that cereal box plus all those layers, right? And I'm going to do the other side. You need some hand muscles on there. And remember how I told you we were going to end up cutting some of those corners off, the distress. So now we're going to go back. We're going to re-distress those corners. Okay, re-distress that top. Any edges that we might have missed, go to the back, do the same thing because we chomped them away, right? And just kind of even it all out. And there you go. We have our front flap, magnetic closure. We have our top placement for either more pockets, because again, grab your scraps, right, if you want, whatever you have left over, and feel free to create some additional pockets in here, you know, by cutting that, you know, just cut it down to whatever size you like of a pocket. You can create a pocket continuing, so you can create the pockets continuing up this way, etc. Oh, I almost forgot. Sorry, guys. We need to glue this down, don't we? So we're going to go ahead and glue both the left and the right side of this pocket right here. There's one, and there's two. So left and right side are now adhered, and now you have your pocket right here, because remember we had actually snipped it. It's not glued down, so I should probably wait, but I want to show you. You have this pocket here, you have this pocket here, right? So you have 1, 2, 3 pockets. If you again want to use some scraps and create another pocket up here, or maybe even 2, you can layer them, right? Here we go, look, 2 more pockets. You have 1 here and 1 here. So let me show you what I mean. 1 there, 1 here. You can do a flip, you know, you can go ahead and once again fold, not so crudely, fold here, you know, and then have a flip out this way. You can have flips again going that way as well. You can cut this into a triangle and have a have a couple of corner tucks if you'd like this way. Geez Louise, right? Oh, the possibilities, as Madison says, are endless. So now it's time for you to go ahead and decide what kind of goodies you want to go ahead and place in here. I'll come back with the finished layout since Madison gets to play with this one and finish it out for us. And here's the completed
finished thing.
Envelope tag journaling.
Yep.
Yes? Loaded with ephemera. Loaded with lots of pretty goodies. So you want to tell us, Madison? Because I let Madison take lead on this decorating. What did you do here in the front?
Put some people.
Right. These are the what? The Tim Holtz people?
Mm.
And this is one of the journaling cards.
Mm.
And then what you do behind it?
Ribbon.
You did a ribbon up at the top, and here?
Lace.
A lace.
Doesn't even glue down.
It is. It's got a little flippy floppy there. And this is vintage, right, Madison?
Yeah.
This one's a vintage piece that we actually either got as a gift or purchased from someone. I don't remember whom, so I don't want to speak out of term. But I asked Madison if she wanted to do a bow here, and she said no, just leave them dangling, which I like that effect too. Back here we have a journaling card. That's going to go in there. Then we flip. Oh wait, no, let's do the back. Then on the back, what you do?
My man sitting on the box.
Yeah, I made a box and actually had him sit there, and then that became a side tuck, right?
Yeah.
So you still have some room to journal.
His head.
Right? That's kind of cool. And he's got this like frame behind him. So that's another opportunity for a picture or journaling. And then it opens up this way. And let's start with the top. What'd you do at the top? What did you decide to do here?
Picture, tuck.
The pocket?
Yeah.
Yes, she decided to actually go with a pocket. And up here you've got
A baby on the corner.
a little baby just sitting on the corner. And then this...
He looks like he's holding the picture.
Right, he's sitting on the picture frame. And then you've got this handsome guy with his mustache, right? And then we just have coordinating washi tapes throughout to kind of blend that all in.
Little book.
You made a little book, right? Using what you do here?
Made a book binding.
Right, with the washi tape.
Yep.
So these were two of the journaling cards, and she bound them together using the coordinating washi. And then on the inside, just, you know, since they were single-sided, she went ahead and actually put the extra pieces of paper on there.
Yep.
So now
Yeah.
you can actually have some lines to write on there. So that tucks in here, and then we go down to the bottom. And let's start from the bottom up. First of all, what's going on here?
A boy holding a doggy.
Right, so these were two separate images. She put them together, and then we went ahead and put
Lace.
a piece of
Fiber.
twine, yeah. And it looks like it's a little leash. So it's totally cute. It's a 3D leash. We actually, believe it or not, ended up having to add a third magnet, because we put so much stuff in the pockets, and this is kind of what I had warned about, right? That the magnet just wasn't strong enough to here. Now it is. You can see it closing, and it holds, and actually now it's got 3 magnets.
Where's the other one?
The other one was behind the original one. So worst comes to worst, you can always add some embellishments and stuff and hide another magnet up front if you wanted to.
Or a picture.
But we stuffed this thing full of goodies, and that's why. So here's another journaling tag.
With ladies.
Yeah, with a family of, I guess the 2 aunts and, you know, the kiddos. And then here's a tag that says...
I think that's the mom. I make that up.
Oh yeah, that one's the mom and the aunt. Today I choose to make this day full of love. I love that. And then another journaling. Oh, and again, you have the first pocket, right, where we actually slit our envelope, and then you have another one behind it. And this technically, this front flap could have been another one if we would have left it open.
Yep, that's for sure.
And then over here in the back, we have one more large
Booklet.
what you do? Booklet? Yeah. So she did a booklet. We could also insert sheets. Oh, let's do that.
You could.
We're going to go ahead and probably insert some paper here and use a sewing machine and stitch it across. So you could still have a writing pad, especially now that we have a third magnet. We're not too worried. It's definitely going to close. So all of these really, really pretty yummy and goodies are also part of this beautiful pocket that we had made from an envelope. We hope that you enjoyed it. We hope you will try it. Make one, right? Everyone can do this, guys. And we've broken it.
Wrong reason.
No wrong way?
Yeah.
That's right. There is no wrong way. Pick whatever paper you have, even some that you've made, or some magazines. Cut out some...
Or some
people, some pets.
Yeah.
Some flowers.
Some children.
Some children. Yeah. And get to crafting. Thank you so much for joining us. And as promised, we have one more video coming your way, and that'll wrap up the envelope series. I've been loving the feedback so far and all the support, so we really appreciate it.
Please share this in your group.
Oh yes, make sure that you guys share this with thank you, Madison, with your groups, so other folks can also give it a try, right?
Yeah.
Thanks. We'll see you soon.
Bye.
God bless.
Bye.
Bye.